3, 2, 1.
And we are take 2 here at Seagold and the Nothings. Just kidding. I'm your host, Zim. We've got Adam, our producer, and Seagold rubbing a dog. Very weirdly
Rubbing a
next to
dog.
me. The dog is staring at me while that's happening.
You got to rub your brisket.
Yes,
right.
that is Brisket. Brisket is here today with us because he likes to have company during storms. We are having a light storm outside.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, she's not a fan.
She's just not a fan. But she's a fan of us, which is great.
She's a good girl.
Talk about today.
I listened to Radiohead today.
You did?
I never listened to a whole Radiohead record ever.
I did not.
And
listen to
per your
Radiohead.
recommendation, I listened to OK Computer, even though everybody says the Benz, but the Benz has like fake plastic trees on it, right?
Yeah.
And I like that song a lot. But I feel like if I'm going to learn to like Radiohead, I have to start when they're already getting weird.
Yeah.
Because if it's just British rock, you know,
So
I'll
they-
just want to listen to A Rush of Blood to the Head instead.
Yeah, I would say Pablo Honey was their first record. That one's more like straight up
That
Brit
have
rock.
creep on it?
Yeah. And then the Benz, I think that's when they started using a lot of those, like, a lot of experimental guitar tones and
Sure.
different things. Johnny Greenwood was sort of like coming into this experimental phase. So you hear some of that, but OK Computer was the big jump there.
I surprisingly, I liked it more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
My remaining hang-up is with Tom York's voice.
Yeah.
But, like, I will say, they got rowdier than I thought they would.
They do.
Like,
See,
there
that's
were a
the
lot
thing.
of pretty good, loud moments. There were still some moments where I was like, this 6-minute song could have been 4.5.
Like
but
what?
I don't know what they're called.
Like, was it early in the album or later?
I think it was
in the
track
album?
3.
Oh, Paranoid Android? Yeah, that's
that's-
the longest song. From
Paranoid Android is why I listened to that record today, because me and Tori and Ollie are reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy
Oh
together.
yeah, and isn't that song in the movie?
We haven't watched the movie yet. We're finishing the book first.
I could
but
be
they,
wrong, but-
they refer to the robot in the book as a paranoid android.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a Radiohead thing.
Mhm.
And as you know, I want to like things.
Mhm.
So I've been on a 10-year odyssey with you in particular
Mhm.
of trying to like Radiohead. And I think it's like I had the same thing with the war on drugs. I
Yeah.
think you have to listen to records and not songs.
100%, 100%. That's one of the things that I liked about them is that their albums front to back really transition and fit together in a certain way.
Yeah.
And not a lot of bands are really doing a lot of that in the
Certainly not anymore.
in the 90s. And Radiohead does that with all their albums. But anyways, speaking of the topic we discussed about
Smush
just
videos.
bands in general that we don't like by association of people who like those bands.
Yeah, bands you like now that you didn't like or thought you wouldn't like because of the other people that liked them. For
Right.
me, it was always in high school, the people that liked Rage Against the Machine and Deftones were not my kind of people. And then when I was like 25, 30, and I started like listening, I think I had a friend who had a copy of White Pony. And,
Yeah, that's a good one.
And now I own all the Deftones records. I love Deftones. I really like Rage Against the Machine,
Yeah.
but it took me a long time.
You know what's funny about Rage Against the Machine and looking at
Very
social
little.
media?
They're quite serious.
Social media today, and literally, I should say, my social media on Sunday was seeing all the people post all the kick-ass videos from that concert.
Yep.
And then seeing all the people that I would have thought listened to the lyrics of Rage Against the Machine, and then realized, wait a second, they're talking bad about my favorite politicians.
Yeah, they just got the memo.
How dare they? And it's like, did you not listen to anything that Zach D was screaming in your face? I mean, the music's great and the arrangements are great. They're very talented. But the whole angry message that he has was lost on a lot of people.
You see that on social
Yeah.
media all the time, like people in the comments section of a musician upset about something, and it's like, did you just get here? Because like this band or whatever, you know, like even like a band, you'll see it on like Anti-Flag's Instagram. Someone's
Yeah.
like, hey, keep politics out of it. Like, what?
So, friend of band, Justin Kibble. had
Ooh, we
posted
love
today.
Justin Kibble.
We love Justin. Just posted, I think yesterday or today.
He
that
should
a
have a
lot of-
podcast called Kibble and Bits.
Can we'll just get Justin.
Or
He
like a
took-
buddy cop movie where one of them's a dog named Bits.
Yeah, that'll
Sorry,
be Bits.
I'm brainstorming now.
That'll
Go
be
ahead.
Bits, but no, he had commented on the video he posted of, I think it was specifically, it said, in a country with forced birth, the average cost of a birth.
Because Rage Against the Machine is donating a portion of their ticket sales.
$450K just from Alpine.
Yes,
which is
to
crazy.
Various pro-choice organizations,
absolutely, which is amazing. But the funny thing is he called out. He's like, a lot of no follower blank accounts telling me, basically suggesting that a lot of bots are just targeting people,
giving him a lot of if you don't like it, get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen that? Not to get politically charged here. We'll step off of that. The Satanic Temple.
I did.
Their stuff is amazing.
It's hilarious. The religious freedom law.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Did you know there's a Baphomet statue in Detroit?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
You should go see it.
Did you know that there's a Church of Satan here in Appleton?
Really?
Yeah.
And
I guess there's a couple in Wisconsin.
Well, because I looked up their stuff, and just seeing what they believe, and it's not like praise Satan and hate Christianity. It's just like go support and help people.
Yeah.
And they have lawyers on standby that help people with abortion cases and all this stuff now. It's just this seems like an interesting group.
I do have to say, and even though we all know this, that the religious freedom is really, it's going to be funny to see all of the religions pop up, because it sort of started happening I think in 2016 when that first law happened, and then you had marijuana churches popping up, you had mushroom churches popping up.
But that's the thing. The average person that says freedom of religion,
only one.
They mean freedom to be a Christian.
Yes, exactly.
Freedom from my religion.
A white evangelical person to be able to say a Christian prayer in church. Or not in church, but in school, in publicly funded schools. Anyway, enough about that topic.
What's your band, Zim?
Yeah, was there a band that all the cool kids in Rosendale liked, so you didn't listen to him? Kenny Loggins. Ollie's on a big Kenny Loggins jag because we went and saw Maverick, and it ripped. It's the best movie I've ever seen in my life.
That's the new top thing?
So good.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I've always tried to be pretty open, but actually I got one. And it's from college. OAR.
Ew.
Exactly.
Ew, ew, ew.
So my roommate at the time.
What if Dave Matthews Band was safer and whiter?
Oh, there it is, right there. Dave Matthews Band. Yeah, I just can't. And I'll be honest. I definitely associated Dave Matthews Band with the hyper douches that loved Dave Matthews. Over time, I can respect what he's done because he seems like he's a good dude.
Sure.
But I cannot handle some of his vocal stuff. I'm sorry, I can't. And I get it's the same Tom York effect. I'm sure it's hard, but some of that I definitely associated a lot of types with Dave Matthews Band and never really jumped on board for that. Now I will say there are some Crash is a good song. I think it's a very well written song.
He knows what he's doing.
But I never got the. Are you going to the Dave show?
The 4-hour Dave show. We're gonna hack some sack.
Do you know him personally to call him Dave? I always hated that, the Dave show. It's fucking just.
We went to Culver's once, and Oliver was served a burger that didn't have a meat patty on it. It was just 2 pieces of bread with cheese in the middle. And that's what Dave Matthews is like to me.
Yeah,
it's like you order a burger and you bite into it, and there's no burger in there. Like you said, he seems nice, and he's got I don't hate him.
No, I don't either. I just
there are bands I would rather listen to less than Dave Matthews, but I've never said ooh, Dave Matthews.
By association, that is my band that
I'd rather listen to Sugar Ray. Me and Tori were at the grocery store the other day, and I was wondering this out loud because that Eagle Eye Cherry song was on. Remember that song?
Save tonight.
And I was saying, this song is fine. It doesn't seem like it's good enough to have lasted these past 30 years.
Yes.
And it made me wonder, how many of these one-hit wonder bands do you think are actually great? Because a lot of people think of the Wallflowers or the Gin Blossoms or the Fart Your Dog Just Cut Loose.
Oh,
rough.
That's all right. Rough.
Didn't mean that.
But they think of the Wallflowers as a one-hit wonder band.
Yeah.
And I know better. They're a great band with many, many great records.
Yep.
Do you ever wonder if what if that Eagle Eye Cherry record is
the best
so
thing
good?
ever.
I can tell you, it's not. It's not. But yeah, I think Dave Matthews is probably the band that I didn't like by association. Also, or OAR, or whatever the fuck they're called. That song, Crazy Game of Poker. I don't get
Never
it.
heard it.
Don't listen to it.
I didn't go to college.
Don't listen to it.
Nor did I.
But that was ruined by association. Roommate, very nice guy. Bad taste in music.
Adam,
Still friends with him.
was there a band
I
that
don't-
you like now that you didn't like then because Biff liked it?
I don't really have a band, but a genre.
Ooh,
Like,
Oh.
I don't.
Kraut
I
rock.
hated country, and I'm not saying I like Luke Bryan and all this
Yeah,
garbage.
like what's country?
Well,
Pop country, I can't do.
pop. Yes,
what's the
pop-
country you like
can't do
now?
Like I like Tyler Childers type country,
Oh, yeah.
or Sturgill Simpson, or that
You
kind
look
of
like
stuff.
Tyler Childers.
Thanks.
You guys could be
Childers.
brothers. You'd be Kyler
But-
Childers.
Even like bluegrass stuff, there's no way I would have ever listened to that. Even my senior year of high school, there's
100%.
no way in hell
Never
I would
listen
ever
to
listen
any-
to it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and especially Rosendale. You'd think that would be, but Rosendale's so small that people don't listen to bluegrass either.
I listened to a lot of
It's not
country
popular.
music growing up. I grew up in Lusk, Wyoming.
I thought you grew up in Owensboro.
I was born in Owensboro,
Mm.
and then I did most of my single-digit years in Lusk, Wyoming. There was a stop in Colorado, a stop in Indiana, Ohio. A lot of country music, though.
Yeah.
I grew up in a household where you could listen to the radio or Christian music.
Ooh.
Oh.
So it was a lot of Alan Jackson and Amy Grant and Wishing I Was Dead.
Oh,
Yeah, my
man.
dad had it was a lot of Jackson Brown growing up in my dad's
Jackson Browne
house,
rips,
which
yeah.
was great, and a
Yeah.
lot of stuff like that. But it's like I had to rebel and not listen to that stuff anymore. And now half the stuff that I listened to in high school, like I don't really want much to do with it.
Yeah, the
at all.
only high school carryover bands that I will still buy their records and listen is probably, I mean, Foo Fighters, but I don't think they're going to be doing a record anytime soon. But I mean, there's really not a lot from high school that I still listen to. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I like the Deftones, and I do have their most recent
Yeah.
record.
There's some punk rock stuff
I
from
will.
back then. And those bands are still going.
Yeah, I mean, if Jets to Brazil or Jawbreaker puts out a
Sure.
new record, I'm listening to that. Any other music information, questions, topics?
What'd you think of Norma Jean's new song?
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did get my copy of Bless the Martyr on vinyl a couple
Dave
days
just
ago.
told me that the other day too. He's
Ooh.
stoked.
So good.
Have you, speaking of albums with the name Martyr in them,
Okay.
do you listen to Immortal Technique, rapper?
I have listened
He's
to
good.
him. Yeah.
The Martyr is an excellent record.
Okay.
If you haven't listened to it, I think it's still free. Like you could download it from his website for free.
Appleton has a new record store
Does it?
that I
Did it
visited
open
on-
already?
Yeah, they opened on Friday.
Did it?
They wanted us to play the grand opening, but I was in Iowa.
Oh, that's the one. Okay.
Yeah. But
Cool.
they're open. I stopped in on Sunday, bought some stuff. My friend Adam owns it.
Oh,
It rips. It's really, really good. It's called Eroding Winds.
where is it?
It's on College Avenue, right next to Lawless Coffee that used to
Oh,
be
yeah.
Lou's Brews, that used
Yeah.
to be Harmony Cafe,
I
that
know
used to be
the-
Pilgrim's
Sort of
Cafe.
know the owners of that.
The other half of Lawless is going to be like a bar called the Commodore Club.
Yeah.
And there's-
Patrick's super nice guy.
There's been talk of me possibly.
I just
playing
talked to
there.
him
Okay.
about that. Once
I don't
he-
think would the band play there, or would
we
it
could
be too
totally do a
much?
Twangs thing there.
Okay.
For sure. I think we should, and I actually kind of told him we should do that. And he's
Cool.
like, oh, yeah, let me get my speakers set up. And because it's a great room. Like, I've seen bands playing there. It sounds great.
I played many like Mile of Music shows in there. I saw Miles play there.
Yes.
I
In
think
the morning.
I saw Hubby Jenkins playing there
Yes. Yeah.
when he was doing the Choose Your Own Adventure thing.
Dude,
Oh,
We
yeah.
saw,
so
this
good.
guy Hubby Jenkins a handful of times at that Mile of Music, and instead of like between song banter, he had a vintage Choose Your Own Adventure book. And in between songs, he would read a chapter and then let the audience pick what they should do next.
Oh,
It was so fun.
love it.
But he didn't have enough time to finish it, so people were like going to see all of his sets to try to see how the book ends.
oh my God.
Well, I
So-
think you came to our space, and then he rolled by, and then
He did.
just like played a little.
Yeah, we
like,
played a show
Played
there.
a few songs
Oh my God.
just out back.
I was just
Are
thinking
you guys
about
doing
this.
Mile of Music this year?
It's always up in the air.
Right.
Okay.
Dave will typically say, I don't know, because
Plus, you got to find a space, which is getting harder and harder to do.
It's
right, and
it's hard.
like you can't do that months in advance. It's always 2 weeks before, and then if you don't have one, then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Well, a conversation for a later date, because in the band chat today, someone asked if we were doing the Dave thing again this
Yeah.
year. So let us know.
and
It's
speaking of Mile, I think our schedule is baller, and I love it. I
It's
hope the
good.
weather holds out. More to come there. But
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Ian. But I think if we did do something, it'd have to probably be an earlier thing because all of our shows are like in that pocket of like night shows.
Yeah.
So
Don't we usually do days like midnight though?
no, we usually do
Was
it
I
like
wrong about that?
earlier.
Yeah, it's usually like a 9 o'clock.
But we're playing 9:30ish. I think is the set time. I don't remember which venue, but
So either we could have to think of something else.
dude, we could podcast there.
Like I still want to do a space because it's always fun just getting
It's
out
a
of
good
the
spot to
office
hang
and hanging out. And yeah.
It is. It's good to just kind of get away from stuff a little bit.
Plus,
Chill.
I mean, I wouldn't mind thinking of, if Marty's not going to be there, what's another cool thing we could do?
Sure.
So
Yeah, let me think about
That's-
that. Maybe I could message my friend Colin from Canni Hemp Co. to see if they want to do a pop-up.
Dave would love that.
So
Absolutely.
I will.
Their
see if we can
little
do it.
bus they got is pretty good.
Oh, it's awesome. The cannabis. It's awesome.
Is that
Oh,
Yeah,
What?
it's so awesome. Canni Hemp Co. By the way, in Milwaukee.
We played a
They're
fest
looking
for
money.
Canni Hemp Co. and it was a lot of CBD stuff. Those corn fritters and all the beer had CBD in it. And it was awesome.
Oh,
and we were
dude.
having a great time. But everyone
tired.
there was so getting into the CBD that by the time we played our set, they were so chilled out. We'd finish a song and everyone would just be like,
Yeah.
Nice.
Right.
"Cool, man." Like nobody clapped at all. Packer talk.
Packer talk.
Packers
Here
Minute.
We go. Packers minute coming up here. We had a pretty good Packers discussion last week. I thought.
Hey, if you don't figure out how I can hear these sound effects, I'm gonna stop doing
I
this
will do it. You can
podcast.
put that on there if you want.
I will walk off of this set right now.
Well,
I'll be
if
in
that's
my
it-
trailer until
if
you
you're-
get a goddamn Bluetooth speaker.
Well, if the Packers are as big a quitters as you are, then they're going to have a shitty year. Okay. Just over 2.5 weeks until the rookies arrive on the 27th, I believe.
Yes.
So very exciting. Football's nearing the corner or around the corner here. It's
Yep.
coming very close.
Skip and Shannon did 8 minutes on Aaron Rodgers' new tattoo. We need football to start
Pass.
Hard pass.
Don't
now. We
care.
need games now. So the Packer question we were discussing before we thought we started recording the show, and definitely before we did start recording the show.
Definitely before we didn't.
I was saying that a lot of the hullabaloo in the sports talk world, which is a cesspool, they're saying that this might be Rodgers' last year, and I don't think it will be because I think there's a lot of young talent on the team, and I think he'll want to invest at least a couple, 2-3 years in that. But I also mentioned that it will almost brisket's up there. It's terrifying. It's like Alien. He's right above you. I also mentioned that it will almost certainly be Tom Brady's last year.
Mm-hmm.
And what are your thoughts on if Tom Brady retires, would that motivate Aaron Rodgers to keep going to get a couple years of being like the elder statesman in the league and also not have to share his Hall of Fame induction with another big giant superstar?
I don't.
Which is inevitable, but
Yeah.
at least it's not Tom Brady.
I don't think that the Hall of Fame piece is going to be a motivating factor for him. What I do think is he's
Heard
always
Willem
talked
Dafoe
about
has
his
a Hall of Fame piece.
what baby arm. But Rodgers always talks about his legacy. His legacy.
That's another
And
slang
I
for
could see
poop.
him like wanting to get better records and better yards after Brady retires so he can
Yeah.
climb a list. But
Yeah.
baby. A baby arm. Derailed. Sorry. Why did you mention William Dafoe in the first
Willem.
place? Willem, whatever. Whatever. Guy's got a fucking baby arm for a dick, I guess. Huh?
That's
Oh,
also
man.
slang for pooping.
Here's
Is that-
controversy.
You're going
Baby
to
arm?
pinch off a baby arm. Or pinch a blind eel.
Oof.
A blind eel? Oh my God, I love it. These are great.
Here's controversy for another episode. The Lighthouse sucked.
I've never seen it.
Midsummer sucked too.
Never seen that either.
Dumb, artsy horror movie. Get out.
What
Blech.
about Hereditary, though? This is also.
I haven't seen it.
You might like that. That one is damn good.
I heard the black phone is really, really good.
Yes, I've been hearing very good things about that.
We should do like a whole horror episode.
Yeah.
We'll talk
But
later.
anyway, Packers
Football.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm super pumped. We didn't talk about the defense.
That last game
week.
last year was a horror show.
Yeah. I'm sure that every positive thing I will say about the Packers defense will immediately jinx them.
If you had to guess for Rodgers, though,
What?
last year,
I still think that it's going to be no more than 2 years. I think that that's the general commitment he's given. But the way
his contract is such that year 3 is hardly there.
Well, even after this year, there's flexibility. So that's
but
why.
only if he wants it to be flexible. It's not like the team
well,
could go
he's
like,
still
"Well, I
getting
ought
the
to do
same
it."
amount of money.
What
But
would be
the way that they structured it allows this to be a 1 or 2 year deal without completely crushing their cap situation.
We have to talk about Baker to the Panthers too.
Oh yeah, that's
Yes, Baker
right.
Mayfield is a Panther.
That's a good burn, Cleveland.
5th round pick? Like,
Yeah, we'll trade you.
I don't know. I think honestly, the guy gets a bad rap. I think he's a talented quarterback who was played super injured last year.
Yep.
He had 3 different offensive coordinators in 3 years.
He doesn't have
The guy's
26 allegations of sexual assault against him. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool too. Is that he seems like he's actually a decent dude. But you know what? What did Ron Wolf say? If Hannibal Lecter ran a 4.340, the scouts would chalk it up his issues up to an eating disorder.
Right. He has certain dietary requirements.
He's got an eating
complicated.
disorder. He eats people, but he runs a 4.2.
He had a personal chef for a while, but he ate him.
Oh man. But no, I think the defense, I'm excited to see them. I think they've got more talent there than they've had in a long time. If they can pull it together and stay healthy and improve from year 1 to year 2 with the new coordinator, I think they could be good. And it's only going to help the offense.
Do you think the division this year, I feel like there are early indicators that for the first time in maybe a long time, the teams around us could be a lot better than we're used to.
Yeah, I think
because people are saying that the Vikings are looking pretty good. I think you can't,
better.
as long as, I think Justin Fields has something, and as long as he's
think
back there, you can't just rule out the Bears. And everyone's been saying
Lions
that
are
the
better.
Lions, like they're just missing like some kind of connective tissue, but like they have all the stuff.
Yeah, they're young. They're very young and talented, and they've got a young, talented coach. And they were a tough team last year.
Yeah,
which
their,
is totally
their record
unexpected,
is
but-
bad. Their performance was not
decent,
as
yeah.
bad as you would think from the record.
Yeah, it's
What-
going to be
what-
tough.
What
division.
pieces do you think they were missing from last year that could have made them win those one-score
think-
games?
Well, it was Jared Goff's first year
It was his
in a
first-
whole new
Yeah.
kind of setting.
I think offensively they've got a lot of weapons. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't think anybody thought he would be as good as he was at the end of the year. I mean, they've got 2 good running backs, including Jamal Williams, who I loved when he was on the Packers.
They have a great coach who they all actually really
he seems like a really
which
sharp,
matters.
good dude.
Campbell.
Defensively, they're pretty young, but they got the 2nd or 3rd best defensive. They got Hutchinson from Michigan, who's supposed to be, like one of the handful of like lockdown, probably going to be a year 1 right away impact. I think they'll be tough. I think every division game is tough. And anytime you play a team twice in a year, it's tough.
Yeah.
But it's
I think
always
it's
going to be
it's
close.
going to be a good season
It'll be close.
all around. Like I'm the kind of person who watches like 5 games a week, even if I
Yeah.
don't care about the teams.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good season. And speaking of Baker Mayfield, the first game of the year for the
Oh, yeah.
Panthers
It's
is against the Browns.
Yep. The
In
Browns.
See,
Carolina.
I feel like there was enough superstars exchanged between teams that like again, like you were saying, even if you don't give a shit about either of the teams, it's going to be exciting to
Right.
watch. You
I
still
never
wanna
in a
root for
million
those
years would have
guys.
thought like I'm excited to see this Panthers-Browns game.
Right.
But I am. And I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of like young quarterbacks like the Josh Allens and Joe Burrows that are and Justin Herberts that are starting to like in their 3rd or 4th year like that's going to be fun to watch. Do
Yeah.
you want to
Yeah,
hear
they're
the
next wave.
top 10 NFL quarterbacks according to ESPN Plus?
Sure.
In order of worst to best,
Worst to best. Okay.
Dak Prescott, number 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Deshaun Watson, number 9.
I think Dak's better than.
You
Sean.
might recognize the number 9 as less than half of the allegations of sexual assault that he has against him. Shucks. $250 million. Number 8 is Russell Wilson.
Okay. I like him in that new offense, but keep going.
Yes. 7, Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
That seems a little low, I think.
It's low, but he's had one really, really solid year, so I can see why.
Yeah. And the rest of the list, number 6, Matthew Stafford.
See, I think Dak is better than Stafford.
Oh, stop it.
Dude, Dak is better numbers-wise than Stafford.
Number 5, Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Number 4, Tom Brady.
Yep.
Number 3, Josh Allen.
Yep.
Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. I think that's way too high.
I'd flip him.
I
Yep,
think he should
I
go
agree.
way down the list. I think I'd rather have Joe Burrow than Patrick Mahomes.
That's a tough one.
Mahomes can't close.
Besides the Super Bowl he won?
That one Super Bowl he won. The one.
I feel like
But-
he is kind of like Dak, though, in the
Spoken like a
sense
Packer
of like
fan. He
once,
won one.
I feel like once like Dak starts feeling some pressure, he crumbles.
Yeah, he falls apart.
He falls apart.
And I'm especially
Well,
to
but
see
hang on a second.
Mahomes without
Hang on
Tyreek
a
this
second.
year is going to be interesting.
Right.
Almost any single quarterback who has Mike McCarthy managing the clock for them under 2 minutes
Move.
is going to fail.
And I can't. We know who number 1 is, so that obviously
Rodgers.
applies
Aaron
there
Rodgers.
as well.
Just noticed Kyler Murray's not on the list. Nor is Lamar Jackson.
See, now that's silly.
Both of those could have replaced Dak.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree.
For sure.
Plus,
That's
think
weird.
Well, both replaced Russell Wilson, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Russell
don't,
Wilson
like,
was high on the list.
shouldn't
I'm
be
not
it.
sold
You
on
shouldn't
him. I'm not super sold on Dak.
If I was starting,
Like-
if I was starting a brand new franchise today, like age, experience, all of those things, it's probably gonna be a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, a Mahomes, and probably a Herbert or Burrow of those 5. Like,
I would
those
take.
5.
I wouldn't want Lamar Jackson just
Nope.
because the way he plays. I feel like his career is going to be very short.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, how is he? He was the MVP 3 years ago.
We're going
How
to
is
see a
he not on
Smush
that
video
list?
someday of Lamar Jackson.
Well,
just
and
under alignment.
Here's the other thing. Tyler Huntley, their backup.
he was.
Yeah, he was
is
really good.
damn
Very
good.
I couldn't believe he didn't go somewhere this year because everyone after that game was saying like, "Oh,
He
he'll
He
be
had
played
starting
looking
somewhere."
really
good
good.
weeks.
Yeah.
Multiple good weeks. But I think, well, Lamar Jackson wants a new contract. He is negotiating it himself.
Yeah, he
without
doesn't have an agent. He's never had an
Really?
agent.
No, he's
Interesting.
never had an agent. There's a
Talks it
handful
over
of
with his
players
mom.
who've done that.
Seriously.
There's a handful of players who've done it.
Yeah.
I think it's probably not the right move, but hey,
Do you feel that Rodgers could potentially have more rings if, like, do you see him as a system quarterback, or
No.
I'm gonna
No. He'll
like
never be a
this
sy-
is I'm gonna
never.
take the risk here and
he'll
do
never
my
be a
thing.
system quarterback.
Yeah.
He wants too much input on shit.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
why he doesn't throw to a wide receiver until the 4th fucking quarter of a playoff game because no one can bring
It's
him
also
in.
why their record without Devontae is better.
He's got to run the system.
They have a winning
Yep.
record without Devontae because he
If
has to
he-
rely on the
I
coaches.
just want him
Right.
to run the system as it's designed. I just want him to
because
run the
LaFleur
system.
has a damn good system.
Well, it's the system that has been proven to work. It's about the illusion of complexity and keeping less formations to get advantageous positions for your playmakers by making it all look the same. And then all of a sudden, Rodgers insists on putting this shit in from the McCarthy era, the spread offense, and it doesn't. It's like,
It
well, this
never
is the Packers
works.
offense. It doesn't. Well, it works certain times, but what coach in this entire league is going to tell Aaron Rodgers we're not putting that in anymore? Nobody.
Right. What game was that where it was a playoff game, I think. It might have been the San Fran game. I can't remember. Where they were finally getting some run going, and then they were on like the 3 or the 2,
And they didn't run.
and they pass it every time.
That was Buccaneers game.
Buccaneers game.
Yeah, they just didn't run the ball.
Yeah.
See, that is the number one thing. If they commit to the running game, which they're going to have to this year,
They're
like they're
paying for a
supposed
running
to.
game. Why not use
why
it?
even pay
Exactly.
Aaron Jones? Why even pay Aaron Jones if you're not going to use him? I think they will this year. I think I'm going to say this, and this has been running around the Packers news for a while. I think Jones might lead the team in catches this year. Maybe not yards, but catches, because he had
Yeah,
almost
he's-
60 last year.
Right. I'm just glad to see, too, that we have not only 2 reliable runners, but 2
Two pass
reliable
catchers.
catchers,
Yep.
too.
Right.
Like, that's how many other teams really have that in their running backs?
Yeah, not many teams. They've got to use their weapons. I think hopefully we'll wrap this up in a bow, and we'll move to the local minute. Hopefully if they can stay healthy and the defense can perform and maximize the talent they have and build on what they had last year,
Yep.
and Rodgers can run the offense, I think they shouldn't see much in it. Special teams, obviously, hopefully if that's
Right.
better, then I think they'll be in a good position. I
Yeah.
think they're going to have a tougher go of it this year, but Anyway.
Yeah.
And local minute starts right now.
Laser beam.
Pew pew. Laser
that a
beam.
laser
Laser
beam?
beam. Laser beam. It's a fucking laser beam. So we've got some local news today. Some exciting local news. Mile Music schedule came out.
Did it?
Well, for us.
We have our
schedule.
schedule.
So it will be coming out to the public. I think the app usually gets updated in the next week or two, so people can start planning ahead.
Yeah, it's tricky because they send out your schedule,
Yep.
and then you have to confirm that it's okay.
Yeah.
So they're probably waiting, thoughts and prayers to them. It's probably weeks of waiting on
TNP.
musicians to respond to their emails.
TNP.
But we're excited about our schedule.
We are.
And
It's a very good
we're
schedule.
grateful for some really good spots.
Yeah.
And we always have a good time.
We always have a good
And
time.
I don't work for them, so don't ask me how to get on I can't. I don't.
No, we don't have any way to get you anything free that's not already free. But it also, I started to see Mark Hillstrom posted his show dates that he confirmed.
did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm glad to see Mark is playing.
I don't see things anymore now that I don't have a Facebook
But you know
page.
what inevitably happens when bands start posting their schedule.
Must be nice. I want to
be nice. I want to be in Mile of Music. But anyway, it's just funny though. It's like clockwork to see the complaints that are coming on, and it's not just people who want to be in it that are writing music or are in a band. It's also the cover bands who, despite 51 weeks a year, are getting hoodles of cash thrown at them to play other people's shit, and they think that they're being left out of something.
Well,
It's
how long
kinda
has
funny.
Mile been around? And they've
9
stated
years.
every year, no covers.
Yeah. I think we could talk about cover bands like on a different episode of this.
I think we should.
Because I think
Future topic.
Well, and I even think like the way you and I feel about cover bands might surprise people. Like I think people think that there's like a feud between like
There isn't
original
at
bands,
all.
and we know a lot of these guys, and they're very sweet people.
Absolutely.
I just think like
What I have a problem with cover bands is it's this whole expectation that started with Vic Ferrari of having to fill a 3 or 4 hour block. So then every fucking person who wants a band
That
thinks,
trickled down and
"You've
landed
gotta,
right
you've
on
gotta fill
us."
4 hours. Like, I'm sorry, what?
Right.
Like, you want...
You know how many
Hoopla?
records that is, guy?
Like, I'm sorry. No, but you just basically got rid of anybody who wants to pay bands, who's got the cash to pay bands in most places, are only wanting you to do that, and just doesn't work.
We played a show in Houdini Plaza, and then we'll move on to the local thing. We played a show in Houdini Plaza, and there was a woman right in front of the stage having a blast. I think you were
That's
playing
right.
drums at the time.
I remember,
And she
yeah.
was dancing. She was having a great time for like 45 minutes. And then she walked over to the merch table. She talked to Tori and then left. And I found out that what happened was she walked to the merch table, looked at the back of one of our records and said, "Are any of these covers?" And Tori said, "No." And she went, "Oh," and put it down and
That was
left.
Was that
Oktoberfest.
the? Oh,
And
I
it was
thought-
like, "But you like it. You were having a good time." Like,
Wait,
Yeah, I don't want to have to listen to it again and
Right.
remember it
that
all.
was an early Oktoberfest, or was that
Was
the
that the
Susto
Susto show?
was that the Susto show?
Might have
It
been.
could have been. I don't know.
I think that's the only time I ever played with you guys in Houdini Plaza.
Did you not? Yeah.
That
maybe.
was Ike's first show. This is Houdini Plaza with us with Susto.
I have issues with
Should
were
we
saying?
just move forward?
Okay, moving. Let's say
That could be the
topic
name
for
of the
next week.
podcast. I have issues with.
Oh my god,
Tori
You
did
really
a
grind
Tori
my
did one of
gears.
those autocomplete things where you type in a person's name and let your generated text do their it was their like what should be on their gravestone. And she typed in mine and it came up Christopher Gold. He was very frustrated with his days here.
Very
it's true.
pretty
fitting.
good.
It's
It's
really
true.
good.
All right, local.
So local, yeah.
We
Besides
need a word that starts with L. Local
lunch. I don't
local
know.
lunch. We could do that though.
But speaking of food, 2 really rad restaurants have just opened from really rad people. If you haven't checked out Ellinor, it's by City Park.
Ellinor.
Ellinor. It is excellent.
What variety?
So everything is wood-fired. Everything. Like wings are wood-fired. Like everything. It's amazing. You've got to do it. But it's very hard to get in. It's a very small place. But the food is amazing. And then what's the other place? The burger place. Mill City?
Mill City.
Rusty and
Dudley.
Dudley's place, yeah.
Dudley and I were in a band together.
Yeah.
We also once pretended to rob a gas station. Longer story for another day.
I know Rusty from way, way back, from when he was in the Regulars.
Yes. The drummer for the So-and-Sos also, I think, played bass for them. Yeah.
We
for a time.
played, my old band, the Bakers, played with the Regadors, I think at Cranky's once.
Sure.
By the way, does Cranky's, are they doing music?
I don't know.
I have not, I don't know if they are either. It's hard to know who's doing music, like, and
Yeah,
who
I
just
don't
kind
know.
of stopped doing music.
Yeah.
But yeah, so couple of really rad restaurants. Also, we are in the dark period of Basil Cafe that they are gone.
Ooh,
and they're
yeah.
closed this summer, which is a huge
I did
bummer.
hear though. There's it's called the. I haven't been there, but I was having this conversation about how sad I am that Basil is closed, and we are blessed with a great many very good Thai places
We
in
are.
town.
What was there was another place that apparently there is a new pho place that's opening somewhere.
I
in
have
town?
never had pho.
You never had it at Basil?
Never.
It's good, yeah.
I
There's-
want to try it, but the problem is every time I go to a Thai place and think today's the day, I'm gonna try pho. There's always
other-
something else on the menu that I'm like, oh, but I know I really, really like that.
Bowl 91 has some now, and they just refreshed their menu.
Yeah, Bowl 91's really good. Mai's Deli is really good.
Mize is very good. Mize is very good.
I think Basil's the best though.
I think so
In
too.
town.
I would think so too.
Like my parents came to visit from Australia, and they spent time in Texas, California, Kentucky, Colorado, and here. And they said the best meal they ate while they were in the States was at Basil Cafe.
My boss man is he travels all the time, like
Pad Thai
200 days a
burrito.
year, and he is a huge foodie. Every big city, he's like, oh, I know the best place to go. I've done all that. He came into town, I think it was right before COVID, and he's like, give me a couple restaurants. I'll be here for 3 days. And I'm like, well, what are you looking for? And I recommended off top of my head, Basil Cafe, Houdini's Escape, and Rye. And he's like, honestly, all three of these were as good or better than anything I've had in almost any other city.
Nice.
And he's like a huge food critic.
Tori and I have been going to El Agave. Have you been there?
I've not been there.
We started going there because the other Mexican place we were used to going to was getting like real crowded and loud. And so we started going to El Agave, and it's super good. And you can get a T-shirt there that says, I'm interested in tacos, not your opinion.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Have you gone to Chicken Palace?
No.
No, how is that?
So it used to be right out by Perkins on College. I think they moved into Grand Chute now.
Interesting.
But
I-
their Mexican ice cream, their chicken tacos are ridiculously
Ooh,
good.
I'm gonna have to check
Worth
that
it
out
for
sure.
sure.
We should have some on the podcast next week.
That's another thing we're gonna have to do. I have those Pocky hot chips. We're gonna have to eat those on a
Good,
podcast.
because you know what? I was going to talk to you about this. Do you ever feel like we've been through something and nobody knows? Like it was so hard to get through that, and I feel like you try to explain it to people and they just can't understand.
No, can't.
I mean, I don't even know if I would let Adam do it.
I dude, I
What?
don't think you could do it, man. Like
What?
The Pocky chip.
Oh, I don't do spice.
It's like
I can't.
So
It's more than that.
the best way, it tastes like a
Then
Dorito
definitely
dusted
not.
in broken glass. And the best way to describe it is we did it with our friend Ryan.
Friend of show, Ryan Romanesco,
He's a sauce boy. We love him.
official sauce boy. We miss you.
But the thing is, you eat it and then you have to just live with it for 5 minutes.
And it's
And-
bad.
When it was over, the three of us went through a 6-pack of beer, a half-gallon of ice cream, a half-gallon of milk, and like 10 bottles of water, and we were all still going like, I think I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Like, it was so-
my face went numb.
Do you want to tell them what happened at the grocery store? I mean, it didn't happen, but a couple hours later, I get a text from Zim going, I almost shit my pants at the grocery store.
That's true. I almost shit my pants.
You
at the
can
grocery store.
feel it
Oh,
working
you
its
can
way through your body
yeah.
all day.
No, that's why I don't understand extremely spicy food.
It doesn't make sense.
There's nothing enjoyable about it. You can't
Yeah,
taste
if you're in
anything.
it, if you're trying to enjoy your
Like-
food, I like spicy food, and
I
I like
love
surprisingly
hot sauce.
spicy food.
Love it.
But like,
Absolutely love
you know,
it.
like the last dab, I think tastes good.
It does
It's
taste
just
good.
really, really hot. But there's some stuff like
The bomb does not taste good.
no,
That is
and like
awful.
I had Mad Dog 357 once.
It's
terrible.
It's terrible.
It's meant to hurt your feelings.
Yeah, I agree. There's a point of diminishing returns with hot sauces where they're
Yeah.
either adding something or they're not.
Satanic Temple has their own line of hot sauces,
bet
by
they
the
do.
way.
The Satanic Temple.
There you go.
Interesting.
What aren't they doing?
I don't know.
Taking away a woman's right to choose.
They're not
No way,
doing
they're not
that.
doing
I'll
that.
tell
Not
you
doing
what.
that, are
They're
they?
not doing that.
Putting up
They're lighting your
Baphomet statues
butthole on
in
fire,
Detroit.
but you can still
Only
have a
white
baby.
We
evangelicals
should end
do
the local
that.
minute by reminding people that eroding winds is
Yes.
officially the best record store in Appleton, and they opened a couple days ago.
Yep.
And you should go there.
You should go there.
And they got good records,
And
new and used.
We should definitely play there if they
We
ask
will.
us again.
He said he will. Adam, because he asked us, and I was on the road, but he said we'll do something else. And he said they still had bands play, and he said the neighbors said they couldn't even hear it.
Oh, that's good. Cool.
And he said it sounded surprisingly good.
One last local thing. I was at the Jones Park thing. There was like a bunch of bands down there on Saturday. Moondance. It was like the first ever like We Jam put it on.
I've heard it. I didn't know that they've done that before elsewhere, right?
I think, but this is the first like ever. Like I think this is the first one they called Moondance or something like that.
I thought it was up in like Eau Claire or something.
Maybe it's the first one in Appleton. Though?
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, yeah, it was actually. I got there a little bit later. My friend was out there. I saw Motherfolk, who has way changed what they are. Their lead singer, the one who played acoustic guitar, has stepped away from the band for his mental health, and now.
I stepped into a band because of my mental health.
But now they sound like they are more rock and roll, and they have keyboards, and they don't sound like a folk band at all. And I really dug it. Like, we've opened for them, and I like them
All
before.
the folk bands want to be rock and roll bands.
Rock bands. But I thought it was really good. But anyway, I was wondering, and this is more of just a general discussion, and then we can wrap this up. But
Yeah.
tickets were $25.
Yeah.
I don't know how they made any money on that, because when I got down there, I mean, there's probably a few hundred people, but there was so much going on this weekend with music. And it's almost like, which is great. It's a great problem to have. But, man, that's kind of a heavy. And I'm all about paying cover charges to go places. And I have no problem paying that to support it. But, man, that seemed like it has to be tough. There's got to be a price point that makes a little bit more sense, because $25 seems like probably sticker shock to people who are like, well, I can just go to Appleton Beer Factory, or I can go to Fox River House.
Right.
So anyway, just food for thought. Like, what is the marker to be able to have a big concert with 4 bands that draw pretty well? Because I think Me Like Bees is their first show back. They played before them, and then Tay was on there. She draws pretty well. And then Coyote Kid. What's his name? The lead singer, really nice guy.
Was that who that Austin?
No.
Austin Dury.
Oh yeah.
I saw a flyer. I wonder if that was him, because it just said Dury.
I caught some clips. They were really good too.
He's a sweet fella.
Yeah, we should try to get a show with them again.
Yeah.
But
The Me Like Bees guys were sweet fellas too.
Yeah,
We
totally.
did New Year's Eve with them.
yeah, they were.
And
Totally
I
nice.
had never met them.
They were super nice.
They're very nice.
But
Football
but you
fans.
But you would think that lineup would have brought more people, and not that it didn't bring a lot of people. Maybe it's just because Jones Park is so huge that it didn't seem like there was a lot. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. What do you price it at? Like,
I don't know.
it's a
I
lot
think
of
there's
overhead.
a very long, wide-ranging conversation that we could have, and that is being had, about just like the state and future of live music. I think it's one
Yeah.
of the things that, like, when people talk about gas prices, because they have their own problems, they don't often think like, how is a band of 5 people supposed to travel the country in a van right now? Because it's also, hotels are getting nutty expensive.
Every other industry is adjusting for price
Yeah.
inflation costs, but bands
Restaurants
can't.
are like, fast food is getting
No
more
one wants to
expensive.
give the artists increases
Yeah.
for costs.
Burger King costs twice as much as it used to cost
So it's like $1.
when I was like, I'm saying, like, when we were 18,
Oh,
you go
yeah.
to McDonald's, it's $5. Well, it's like 12 now.
yeah,
And when you put all that on a touring band
that's a
that's
lot.
not selling records anymore, and again, people aren't trying to do cover charges and that
Right.
kind of thing. Like, it'll be an interesting
It'll be
time.
interesting to see what pockets. Hopefully, Appleton will be one where there is enough demand
Yeah.
to bring bands in that we can pay, that venues can pay them to make it worth coming here.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of the balancing act. Maybe you take a loss on some of those so that you can get a win later.
Mhm.
But anyway, that was just an observation and
Yeah.
thinking like, well, I don't care, I'll pay it. But it seemed like it might have priced out things a little bit.
So Austin is doing like a new thing? He's not doing Coyote Kid anymore?
No, well, I think they're doing that too.
Because I know like their
Um,
bass player left.
I think it's
something.
him and is it his brother or
I don't know.
family member? I think are in that band. But
I thought his wife was in the
oh,
band.
maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
that's
thought
what it is.
so.
Um,
Caleb
But
probably
anyway.
knows. He's friends with them
yeah,
from way back in the day.
Um,
All right.
but yes, do we want to do a brief space/alien discussion?
We should do that next week.
Okay, we'll
Because
do
I
it
don't
next
think
week.
you
I don't really
or
know
I.
much about that.
I do know a lot.
Yeah, you can't. Have you ever had a brief discussion about it? No. No. All right. Remember that time that we were talking about it,
And
and
we
I
went
was
too far?
so enraptured in what you were saying that I missed our exit, and we drove at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I drove us like an hour out of our way. We had to come home like through a cornfield.
Instead of cutting over on Stevens Point from 10, we just kept going past Stevens Point.
Whee!
And we had to go through the country a little bit. But we will save that for next time.
All right, Adam,
Yes.
what have you been listening to?
What have I been listening to? I have been listening to a lot more Del McCurry lately.
Good.
Sarah Jarosz, I've been digging
Good.
into more. Still, I am now going through Billy String's new record again.
It's
'cause I
pretty
didn't-
good.
I didn't like it at first, and I'm a big fan of it.
Yes,
It
they
seems-
officially added a fiddle player a couple
Yes,
days ago. Did you see that? He like proposed on stage to a guy to play
Yeah.
fiddle in his band.
Alex something, I can't remember.
Yeah.
His Alex Horgraves or
Yeah,
something like
he's
that.
been with him for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I've always felt like there's so much fiddle on the record. Why not get a fiddle player?
Right.
Like everybody in the world wants to be in this band. Like
Right, they're
Probably can't pay him because of gas prices.
Billy
Billy
Strings
Strings
is
is
making more money than God right now.
He's printing-
God,
he's printing money.
He's gonna be selling out arenas in no time.
I bet he could now if he wanted
yeah.
to.
He is.
Because he's doing like 3-night stands at big places.
Oh yeah, I think he's doing really
See,
good.
that's what's made me curious about Childers, because like before COVID hit, like he was selling out arenas, and then he just dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah,
I think that's a choice he made.
Yeah.
He did decide to step
And
away.
he put out that instrumental record
Yep.
that I think I respect it. I don't listen to him. I just haven't taken the time yet. Mm-hmm. But he put out like a fiddle record
yeah,
because he wanted to, and I respect that, and it sounds
Yep.
cool. But I'm sure like every manager on the planet was like, no, don't do that. Like you're right about to like explode. Don't put out this weird fiddle record.
Yeah.
And he just strikes me as the type that like I don't think he wants to be
I
ginormous.
think I read an interview of him that it was like, I just want to make enough money to buy some
Yep.
land and then buy.
Yeah.
Because now he's just like playing Red
Sturgill
Rocks
was
every
like
couple
that
of
too,
months.
and their friend like Sturgill said like I
they're
don't want to
close.
Yeah.
be, famous or anything like. And again, a conversation for another day. We have had the good fortune of playing some fairly big places.
We have.
And we have played some places that I felt like this is like a rush and it's a lot of fun. But I wouldn't want to do it every day. It's too much. Like
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm actually playing for everyone here. Like the back row is so far away. Like our biggest, we played for 2,500 people.
Yeah.
And it was amazing and it was a blast and I would totally do it again.
Sold out is amazing.
But the idea of doing it every day compared to like the high noon where there's
Right.
like
You
300
gotta get a
people in
mix.
there.
You have to mix it up.
And I
Yeah.
think the kind of music that you play and why you play it, like, I like it a little bit smaller. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler Childers had similar feelings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like because he released a new song, or however new it is, he could have had it for years,
When-
but
When was that? I think it was
Rust-
2020, like right before. Didn't he put a record out like right before COVID? Or
well,
right
he did that instrumental one. Then he put Country Squire out, I think in like 19
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah.
That
but-
I think that's the one I'm thinking.
Sturgill
of.
Simpson produced that one.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
But then he did some like studio sessions, and then he had just talking briefly about stuff. He's like, I've just been off the road, not playing with the boys, and I like it.
Yeah.
That's
He's
awesome.
another one. He's married and
Yep.
He's a little bit like there's a lot of people like just my whole life is music or football or whatever.
Right.
And then there's people that it's like that's another difference between Brady and Rodgers. Brady, like every single thing he thinks or does has something to do with football. I'm going to eat this because of football, and I'm going to do this because of football. And I'm going to go to sleep at this time because of football.
Yep.
Right.
And Aaron Rodgers likes to travel
he's just
and loves
different-
music,
different
and
wired, yep.
reading,
Yep.
and all this kind of stuff.
Golfing,
and I think
golf
Tyler
production.
Childers is more of like I love playing music, but I also like love having a life and being
Right.
home and that kind of thing. So
That's why when I think about it, like
That
when I think about playing and I miss it, and then I was feeling like, man, I wish I was in this big popular band. But then it's like, do I want to be not home for months and months? Like I hate being away for more than like 2 days. Like I
hotel
just
sleep is
can't
not
do
good
it.
sleep.
No, it
Yeah.
never is.
I'm gonna be living it this week.
Yeah, I was gone all weekend. I did Iowa and Illinois, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
What are you listening to?
I would say it's been in the regular rotation probably since last summer. Is the second Marie Lepanto record.
Oh, okay.
It's awesome. It's really, really good. And
It's a
Which
guy
also-
named Will Johnson and
Justin-
Justin Peter Kinkle-Schuster from Waterliars.
yeah.
We played with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Multi-
You've shown me
yeah, a few
that, yep.
times. But man, I wish they would actually come out and tour and play.
Year and a half ago, Will put out his first novel called If or When I Call, and it was really
he
good.
does like sports drawings.
He did a Joe Strummer I have a print of.
So I tried to get his Bart Starr one, and it was sold out. And he's like, "Oh, dude, if I make another one, I'll let you know."
We'll keep an eye because he does. I have like a 12 by 12. He does like limited runs of numbered prints. You don't have to get the original. That's like
yeah,
super
I don't
expensive.
care. I just wanted it for my basement.
Yeah, Tori got me his. He did a Joe Strummer that Tori bought
Yeah,
for me.
but that's what I've been listening to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, well, I think we'll save the rest of the topics for next week.
Aliens, dude.
Aliens
and
coming
horror
next
movies.
week.
Laser beams.
Laser beams, pew pew, and we are www.christophergold.com.
Boom.
Boom, and we out.
3, 2, 1.